Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Chester County Immediate Unit Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited you are here. My name is Catherine, and I will be your facilitator for this session. Before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items to note. First, your camera and microphone are off. You are muted and your video is off. The panelists can't see or hear you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to use the Q&A button towards the bottom of your screen to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. They are here, ready and available to answer your questions. After this session, I'll be posting a link in the chat. We invite you to join the breakout room with all of the college representatives that are represented in this hour. The breakout rooms will last about 15 minutes, which is between the end of this session and before the next session begins at the top of the hour. And lastly, all sessions are being recorded, including this one, and will be available at strivescan.com/Chester County. We are currently in session B1, where my mouse is circling at the moment. And this is also the same order of presentation. So without further ado, I'll get out of the way and introduce our very first representative from Elmira College.
Hi everyone, I'm Taylor Schmansky. I'm an admissions counselor at Elmira College. I did not have a presentation for you because kind of editing it and making everything better. So I'm just going to give you some fast facts and some interesting for the school. We sponsor 18 varsity sports. Ice hockey is pretty big right now. We have 20.
Hey Taylor, sorry to interrupt. Your audio was cutting out in and out for a bit. Not sure. You sound really low on our end.
Is it good now or?
Yep, I think we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why. My bad. Sorry guys. Technology. I'll try and if there's any more problems, just let me know. So we have students coming from 25 states and 13 countries. So that's pretty cool. 40% of our students travel abroad term-free. Our professor ratio is.
Hey Taylor, sorry, it's still happening again. Do you want to see if we can get that together and then we just bump you to the end? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Awesome. Okay, well, we'll come back. Again, we'll jump to our next representative, which is Binghamton University, SUNY.
Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Doug Harrington, one of the admissions counselors here for Binghamton University, part of the State University of New York system. I use he, him, his pronouns. Happy to be here talking to you a little bit about Binghamton. So if you give me 2 seconds here, I'll share my screen. Right. So as I mentioned, we're part of the State University of New York system, or the SUNY system, if you've heard of it. We are one of 64 different schools a part of the SUNY system, and of all 64, we are proudly ranked #1 in the state of New York. We are always love to brag about that here at Binghamton. I certainly love to start off with a view of our campus. You can see there pictured. We do have about 1,000 acres that sits here in upstate New York. So it's absolutely gorgeous, especially right now in the fall and the leaves change. It is beautiful. So it is a true campus atmosphere. It's not like you're walking around a city and all of a sudden you're on a college campus. You can see exactly where we're located. In New York, we're about 20 minutes over the Pennsylvania border, so we're not super far away at all. We're only about 3-hour drive from Philly, so depending on where you are in the Philly suburbs, could be 2.5 hours, could be 3:15, roughly around there. I was about 2 hours away from Binghamton. I thought it was the perfect distance. You can see that we're super centralized in the metro area here. With New York 3 hours, Philly 3 hours, Boston, Cleveland, Pittsburgh around 5, and smaller cities like Syracuse, Scranton, Ithaca, they're only about an hour away. Really helps with not only things to do, but of course, when it comes time to recruiting and full-time jobs and internships, we do have over 145,000 active living alum, 2/3 of which actually live and work in the New York City and Philadelphia metro areas. So since we are so close, they certainly love to come back and help out our students as much as possible. Just a little bit fast facts about Binghamton. We are a nice, true mid-sized institution here with 14,000 students. We're not a super big 50,000 student flagship school, but we're also not a 1,200 student liberal arts college either. So always love to point that out, the fact that that is going on here at Binghamton. So I think it's the perfect size, and the way the campus is laid out, not as big as it feels, which is really nice. Always love to point out our 92% first year retention rate compared to the national average of 73%, one of the highest rates in the entire country. And of course, you can see our high school GPA and test scores as well. These are our 50% mid-ranges. Not a hard cutoff by any means, just kind of giving you a frame of mind. And we are test optional for our seniors, of course, through spring of 2023. So entirely up to you whether or not you want to send your scores. We do have over 130 different majors and programs here, broken up into 6 different schools of study, whether it be our Harper College of Arts and Sciences, which is our largest school here, has about 120 of our 130 different majors, all your physical sciences, social sciences, math, languages, fine arts. Our College Community Public Affairs, which houses human development and social work. Direct entry nursing program that we have here with our Decker College of Nursing, one of the top nursing programs in the Northeast. Our School of Management, where we're one of the top 10 public business schools in the country, where we have accounting and business administration. Our Thomas J. Watson College of Engineering and Applied Sciences with 5 different engineering majors in computer science. And of course, our School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, for you can come and get a PharmD on our program. So lots offered for you here at Binghamton. Of course, you don't need to decide right now. You can come in as undecided, but we do have lots of options, including over 50 different accelerated fast track programs. And of course, our pre-professional programs for those interested in going to the health or law school fields as well. Binghamton does have its first Nobel Prize winner. He's pictured there on the right. He did win in 2019 for chemistry. He is credited with inventing the lithium ion battery. So as I sit here in my hotel room in Pennsylvania, I am proud to report that my computer is being powered by his invention. So he does work with our first year students through our first year research immersion program. Speaking of research, we are an R1 research institution. We have an abundance of different research opportunities available for our students throughout, starting all the way down to their first semester. As I mentioned, internship and full-time jobs, lots of amazing opportunities to get internships and full-time jobs, whether it be Boston, New York, Cleveland, anything like that. Service learning, very service oriented here at Binghamton, whether it be in the classroom. I myself had to volunteer at a local elementary school through a writing course that I was in, or whether it be a student run organization or a campus run organization. And of course, studying abroad. Since we're part of the SUNY system, you're not only getting access to our study abroad programs, you're getting access to every single one in the SUNY system. So there is actually over 1,000 different programs available to you. As I mentioned, these are just some of our successful alums. We do have over 1,800 companies that do come and recruit to Binghamton on an annual basis. Our Fleischman Center was awarded the Exemplary Career Center Award, which is one of the top awards that they give out. So it's ranked as one of the top in the country. And you can see that a Binghamton University student's average starting salary is well over the national average. So certainly always love to point that out as well. But of course, what is there to do outside of your academics? You don't want to be that person who spends 24/7 in the library. I know them, they're no fun. You can go out and explore. We have 21 Division I sports free for our students to attend any one of our games. We also have club and intramural sports for those of you who want to participate. We do have over 100 different music and theater performances annually. We have 2 different professional art galleries. We have over 450 student-run groups and organizations here that will certainly make your transition to college a lot easier. It's where you make a lot of your friends, whether it be performance, professional, volunteer, and of course, you can start your own organization if you want to. One of the more recent clubs that was founded here at Binghamton was the Binghamton Cheese Club. It was founded about 2 years ago, and now it has over 1,000 different members. So it can certainly really be about anything. One thing you might not know about Binghamton is that even though we do have about 14,000 students, we have been ranked #1 in the country for sustainability research, something that we're very proud of. So we're very focused on that because we understand that housing and teaching 14,000 students could potentially leave a mark. So between our academic programs, like our environmental sciences program, we do have a 190-acre nature preserve that sits on our campus that is open to the public and is free for students to use, with miles of hiking trails and biking trails. Our BU Acres Farm, which is a farm on campus that we actually will sell the crops back to the dining hall. So we do have a little bit of a farm to table atmosphere, as well as our Nuthatch Hollow living building. When it's completed, it will actually be considered the 12th living building in the entire world. And of course, you do have the greater Binghamton community available to you. Downtown Binghamton is only around 10 minutes away. So we're a smaller city, about 45,000 people, but certainly have everything that a city has with theaters, art galleries, museums, 2 professional sports teams, and a bustling restaurant scene. So one other thing before we wrap up, always love to talk about our value, about 45,000 for our out-of-state students. But what's really nice is that we do reserve all of our merit scholarships for all of our out-of-state students, up to $15,000 a year. We've actually been ranked as the number 15th best value college in the entire country. That's one right behind Princeton University. So please feel free to check us out. Go to our website. We have lots of different virtual sessions going on. You can see that's our nature preserve in the background. I am the Pennsylvania recruiter, so you can certainly feel free to reach out to me for any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them. So with that, it does wrap up Binghamton's presentation. I'm happy to pass it on to the next university, and please feel free to stop in my breakout room. We're happy to chat with you a little bit more.
Awesome, thank you. The next representative is from LaSalle University.
Hello, everyone. I'll do a little introduction of myself. I'm Jeff Ainsley. I'm the Associate Director here at LaSalle University. As I'm sharing my screen, it'll pop up for all the presentation information that we have coming for you. So obviously we're located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you've never visited our school, you all are very close to our area, obviously right in the heart of Philadelphia, PA. So if anybody's on this virtually from another area, potentially, you could always come and venture down on the Ave and Broad Street and come see LaSalle University if you're ever in Philadelphia. Some fast facts about our university, just to get kind of the baseline of everything that we offer at LaSalle. About 4,600 total enrollment, which includes graduate transfer students, undergraduate, and our adult day population. So it is definitely a little bit on the medium, smaller side of universities. And what that can garner for you is great opportunities for interpersonal relationships with your professors. So all of our professors really get to know their students. Like you can see, they're 100% faculty taught classes. They don't have TAs or grad assistants grading your papers or teaching any courses or working with you in lab facilities. It's all 100% faculty at the top of their careers. So they all have terminal degrees in their fields, meaning that they have PhDs or master degrees and 10 plus years of professional experience in and around Philadelphia, which is great for internship and co-op opportunities that we offer all of our students for all of our majors. 96% of students receive some sort of financial support, whether that's through FAFSA and financial aid services, or whether that's through our scholarship programs that we have for students. We have great diversity on campus in both clubs and student populations. So as you can see, 43% of our undergraduate students identify as students of color, with opportunities in affinity clubs, over 120 opportunities for students to get involved, and that grows every day. What we have on our campus as well are called LLCs. They're living learning communities. Actually, one of them is a partnership with Purina, which is the dog-friendly residence hall we have on campus for our first-year students, which is pretty unique. We have 19 Division I athletic teams. We're in the A10 conference, the Big Six, and the City Six and the Big Five in the Philadelphia region. And we also have tons of opportunities for travel club sports as well within those confines of those conferences that we're in. So our School of Arts and Sciences is usually where a lot of students in their first couple of years are going to be spending the majority of their time, even though you may not have one of these majors in particular, because we have a core curriculum set of courses that we offer our students, which kind of shapes our students into overall learners as a liberal arts private Catholic institution. So whether or not these are one of your majors that you're interested in, or you could just be taking some courses in these areas, it's really building your own path through LaSalle, and every student has an academic advisor. We have a 12-to-1 student faculty ratio, with the average class size being about 25 students. So you really get that peer immersion experience, and also that open dialogue with professors in the classroom. You're not going to find many lecture style offerings at LaSalle, just because we like to focus more on experiential learning with students out in the field, or working with professors who have also done the work and the research as well. Our most popular majors in this area are biology, with our pre-med program that you can be affiliated with as well. Also, some of our 5-year options that you can get master's degrees in education, also communication and information technology and cybersecurity. So we see a lot of STEM opportunities coming up in the pipeline in Philadelphia. So we definitely have opportunities for students to get involved in those areas pretty heavily. Our School of Business is AACSB accredited. It's a fancy acronym for only 5% of schools worldwide that are able to actively host recruiters on campus. Since we are part of one of the largest cities in the nation, we have great opportunities for students to pretty much roll out of bed and get internship or co-op experiences, which is pretty unique. Of our options that we have here, our accounting 4-year BS MBA program is very, very popular. It's one of the only 4-year accounting MBA programs in the nation. We also have business administration, which is very popular for students who are coming into the business program, as well as management and leadership and marketing. We have a business scholars co-op program, which allows you to have 2 co-ops built into your schedule, where you still graduate in 4 years' time, but have basically a year's worth of co-op experience under your belt. We also have a LaSalle Center for Entrepreneurship, which local companies and organizations bring products into our students, which works a lot of interdisciplinary options between our 3 schools for marketing purposes, or just some feedback that a lot of companies and organizations use LaSalle students for in an interactive way. Last but certainly not least is our School of Nursing and Health Sciences. It boasts our most immersive major, which is our nursing population of students. It's a direct entry program as well. So as soon as you are entered into the program, if you've gained direct admission, you start your major courses your first year. We do this because we have the opportunities of having a hospital on our campus. So students have access to an outpatient care facility for bedside manner, and also working in simulation labs that are actual hospital rooms. So we were able to acquire Germantown Hospital on our campus about 10 to 15 years ago. So it became our School of Nursing and Health Sciences. In that, aside from our nursing simulation labs, we also have a full nutrition and public health food lab for nutrition and public health safety and security. So if you're looking for 5-year programs in those areas, and communication sciences and disorders, also known as speech pathology, you definitely have a great opportunity for students there as well. Nursing is one of our most popular majors also because we have very close connections with all Philadelphia hospitals in the region. So students have great access starting sophomore year for clinicals, which is one of the earliest opportunities that you can offer students clinical rotations out in the field. But because our experiences at LaSalle are so immersive, students are really prepared for those opportunities as well. Last but certainly not least, you can't talk about LaSalle without talking about Philadelphia. It's the 6th largest city in the country, 18 Fortune 500 companies within the confines of where LaSalle students usually are, 4th largest media market, and it's ranked one of the best cities in America for diversity in science, tech, engineering, and math, which I mentioned earlier, that we have opportunities for all of our students in those areas. Feel free to stop in the breakout room. We can talk about ways to visit LaSalle. We've been in person and continue to be in person for both campus tours and for all of our student population over the past year. So it's been great to have students back on campus and to see Philadelphia for what it actually is. So hopefully we'll see you all soon.
Great, thank you. Just a friendly reminder that if anyone has any questions, to feel free to submit those using the Q&A button towards the bottom of your screen. Any questions at all, our representatives are here and available to assist. The next representative is from Seton University.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ian Kroll. I'm one of our assistant directors here at Seton Hall. I am our Philadelphia and kind of Eastern Pennsylvania rep, I guess. So I will be your contact. If you end up applying to Seton Hall or come visit campus or anything like that. So very nice to have you all here today. So a little bit about Seton Hall University. We're probably about an hour and a half or so outside of Philadelphia, in South Orange, New Jersey, right outside New York City. We're about 14 miles from New York City. Which is really nice because we do, as you can see from this picture here, have our fantastic campus in South Orange. It's a great little college town, but at the same time, we do have a train in town that'll take you into New York in about 25 to 30 minutes. So excellent location, great opportunities for a bunch of different internship, job opportunities, things like that. All right, so this is kind of our nice fun page here of all sorts of our fun facts about Seton Hall. So we are kind of a medium to small university, about 6,200 students. We're 55% female, 45% male, have a 45% diversity rate. 80% of our freshmen do live on campus, so we don't require that you live on campus, but we obviously encourage it and think it's a great opportunity, which majority of our students take. We do have nice small class sizes of about 21 students. Spread out over 90 different academic programs. We have everything from great College of Arts and Science, where you'll find our traditional liberal arts style majors, your histories, math, sciences, language, all of those great majors. We also have a College of Nursing. We actually are the oldest College of Nursing in the state of New Jersey. We're the first school to offer a bachelor's in nursing. We start our clinical rotations second semester of your sophomore year. At that point, you will also start taking your higher level nursing classes and having your labs at our new interprofessional health science campus. Going off that, at that great health and medical science campus, we also have a bunch of dual programs in athletic training, physical therapy, speech language pathology, which one did I not mention? PA, and occupational therapy. I don't think I mentioned that one. Physical therapy might be the other one. I forgot which order I went in. But anyway, all of those are either 5 or 6 year programs, which are ending in a master's, or in the case of physical therapy, a doctorate. What's great about all of those programs is they're direct admission. So if you apply and you're accepted, as long as you maintain your grades year over year, There's no reapplication process for the graduate portion. During that 4th year, you just start your graduate school work, and your seat is guaranteed in that program. We also have a great College of Education. Our program actually requires the most teaching hours of any school in New Jersey. So again, starting that 2nd semester of your sophomore year, you will be in the classroom. You'll be in all sort of different classroom settings, which really sets up our students for success. We also have a great School of Diplomacy and International Relations. So if you wanted to go into public service, government work, things like that, this is an excellent program for you. We did help build the curriculum with the United Nations Association. So we have great access to the UN. Again, that location outside of New York City is excellent for our students. And then we also have our Stillman School of Business, which is definitely one of our most popular schools on campus. Again, that location is huge for us. We have students who are constantly going in to the city for internship opportunities and then job opportunities post-graduation. We also have a great sports polling center, market research center, and we're actually upgrading our mock trading room on campus as well. And then finally, we do also have our College of Communication and the Arts. So that would be where you find all of your, broadcast journalism. We have a great sports media program as part of that, but also our fine arts and our theater arts as well. So a lot of really good opportunities for our students, regardless of what you're interested in. We have a whole bunch of opportunities in the classroom for you. We also do have 130 clubs and student organizations on campus, 22 Greek organizations, and then 14 Division I sports. Our sports teams at the varsity level are on the Big East Conference, so really exciting competitive conference. So our sporting events are a lot of fun to go to, particularly basketball. That's a big thing. We play at your Prudential Center in downtown Newark. And then we also do have options for club sports as well as intramural sports. All right, and then finally, so we do have 2 open houses coming up. We have one coming up on this actual coming Sunday, October 24th, and then we have another one about a month later in November. We do have 2 early action deadlines also coming up pretty quickly, of November 15th and then December. That's supposed to be December 15th, sorry there. And then 2 regular decision deadlines of February 1st and March 1st. And we do have a fee waiver code there for you as well. We also are welcoming students to campus for in-person tours, day visits, things like that. So if you are interested in coming to visit campus, please feel free to pop in the breakout room and talk a little bit more to me. Thank you.
So much great information. Thank you. The next representative is from Fairleigh Dickinson University.
All right, let me see if I can share my screen. If not, I'm gonna have to kick you off, I think. Can we all see my screen? That work? Perfect, great, fabulous. It's a good day to be alive. Okay, so my name is Danielle Balsamo. I am one of the admissions counselors over at Fairleigh Dickinson University. And okay, perfect. So this is gonna go full screen. So we are going to chat a little bit about the university. Please keep in mind, this is only 6 minutes. So as much as I'd love to talk in depth about everything, I cannot. So we'll hit the key points and let's chat in that breakout room at the end. So Fairleigh Dickinson University is actually the largest private university in the state of New Jersey, but it doesn't feel like that. And that is because we actually have 2 different campuses. And our first campus is our Forum campus in Madison, New Jersey. Our second one is in our Metro campus, which is closer to New York City, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Because we are a large school, we do have the resources of larger schools. So over 100+ majors, minors, and concentrations is just the start of that. So just a couple of our majors real quick. We do also have a direct fit for nursing program. We have an engineering school. We have programs for, again, direct admit medical programs that'll take you 3+3 or 3+4 years for you to get a full doctorate in one of those medical fields. We have a school of art. I pretty much, you name it, we probably have it, with the exception of architecture. That is one I always laugh that we do not have, but we do a lot of buildings, so it fits in. We are about a 12-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. Again, because of 2 campuses, we do have that smaller size. We have over 112 clubs and organizations available across our 2 campuses, and that is going to run the gambit. So anything from our club sports teams to Greek and life to arts clubs to my favorite newest club on campus, which is Pokemon Go. We are always looking for new clubs. So if there isn't something that you see or that's something from another, high school, we definitely recommend bringing it. We get very excited when new clubs come. Outside of our clubs and orgs, we also have we have 43 4+1 programs. So these are programs for students that are looking to complete their master's degrees. You do not have to select one of these programs until your sophomore or junior year if you would like to be part of this. The exception being our education program. Our education program is a 4+1 program by nature. So you are coming out of that degree with a master's of teaching. So this is our one campus, our metropolitan campus. It is just 6 miles from downtown Manhattan. So just a 10-minute drive with the bus. Easy in, easy out. Our students are constantly in New York for internships, interviews, you name it, they're in there. We use it as a second classroom as well. So something really unique about this campus is that you are actually looking at just one half of campus. We are currently looking from our pedestrian bridge. It was recently completed, and it actually crosses this main river because this river, Hackensack River, divides our campus into 2. And so it actually is in 2 different towns, but in the same local area. This campus is a lot more of what I like to call a modern campus. It is in a bustling suburb. It is a lot more modern buildings, and it has D1 sports at this campus. This is our Forum campus. Our Forum campus is in Madison, New Jersey, which is about 40 minutes from downtown Manhattan. There's a train just off campus within walking distance that takes you right into Penn Station. So again, easy in, easy out. We're constantly using New York as a classroom. We call this one our traditional or our picturesque college campus because this campus is actually a historic campus. So what that means is it actually used to be a Vanderbilt Tombly estate. And so the building we're looking at right now, we call it the mansion, but it is formerly known as Hennessy Hall. It's the 4th largest single family home in the country, used to belong to the Vanderbilt Tombly estate, and it is now part of our campus. Every single student will be taking classes in this mansion. So that's just a little fun fact. Our grounds also look just like Central Park, and that is because it was designed by the same architect as Central Park. So between our 2 campuses, you'll notice that I had said Metro has D1, and that is because Forum is actually D3. So whether you're looking to support a sports team or be a part of one, we do have 2 different divisions that you can be a part of depending on your campus, and we divide that by our mascots. Our campuses are about the same size, with Metro being a little bit bigger by student population, but Forum being larger acreage-wise. And then again, they're pretty comparable when it comes to clubs, orgs, etc. So biggest differences I always like to tell between these 2 campuses when it comes to majors, because the majority of our majors are on both, there are a few that are not. So if you're looking at engineering, you're going to want to look at our Metro campus. Same with marine biology. If you are looking for any of our arts specific programs, you're going to want to look over at our Forum campus. So outside of classrooms, we do like to give you not just the standard liberal arts degree, but we really want you to have the practical experience necessary to get that job and move forward in the real world. So we do this in a lot of different ways. Internships, mentor networking, guest speakers, career development, study abroad, but we also do this in some unique ways as well. So our government and politics students are a part of our United Nations program, which works directly with the United Nations. Our graphic design students have a studio in which outside organizations will bring in projects for them to do. These students then across 4 years will be working and completing professional level projects and having a fully built out portfolio. Our hospitality and tourism students are able to live, study, and work at a 3- to 5-star resort across those 4 years. So just a little bit. We'll wrap this up quickly, but we do have 2 international campuses as well. So if you're looking to study abroad and you're a nursing student or one of those local students, you can go. And then, of course, we send other places. Here's a quick snapshot of our application deadlines. I'll be in the room at the end, so we can chat more about this if you have questions. Here's my information. I will also send it in the chat.
Great, thank you. We really appreciate it. Before we hear from our next two representatives, just another friendly reminder that if you have any questions at all, to feel free to submit those questions using the Q&A button. Any questions at all about the college application process, or if you have any questions specific to for our representatives here tonight, we encourage you to include the school name. The next representative is from the College of New Jersey.
Hi, good evening, everyone. While I get my screen up and my PowerPoint up, I did want to let everybody know that I have put some useful resources in the chat. So my email address, my personal booking link, and then links for TCNJ's on-campus and virtual event calendar. We have a ton of great programs going on right now. Our last big open house is going to be Saturday, November 20th. So good evening again, everybody. My name is Stephen Tomkiel. I'm the Senior Admissions Counselor for the College of New Jersey, TCNJ. I've actually been at TCNJ for about 7 years, recruiting in PA specifically for 5 years. The College of New Jersey is an excellent institution. We're in Ewing, New Jersey, about an hour and a half from the Exton Mall. So really not too far for everybody attending this event. We are a public school, but one thing that's really going to make us unique is that we are smaller than most public institutions. So there's about 7,000 undergraduate students on our campus. That's going to translate to a student to faculty ratio of 13:1, average students in a classroom, 21 students. I think potentially the even more meaningful data point, you will never see a classroom space at TCNJ that goes beyond about 35 or 40 students. We don't do the big 200-person lecture hall. That is not our style. And so really kind of the sense that I'm trying to impart here is that because we are smaller, we feel more intimate, we feel more close-knit. We may remind you of some of the great private and selective institutions you're looking at as you pursue your college search, but because we are public, we also have the big opportunities. We have great undergraduate research and internships being right between New York City and Philadelphia. Our direct admit nursing program gets students in the hospital during their second year on campus. Student teachers are in this classroom by their second year. So we get all the big picture opportunities people expect from big schools. We have the lower costs you'd expect from a public school, put it all together. We're kind of facilitating a best of both worlds model between the public and private models of education. And that allows us to create some really meaningful experiences for our students to drive a lot of the successes you see. So right here on the screen, you'll see that we do have an excellent retention rate. 94% of our first year students come back for round 2. We also have the 5th highest graduation rate among public institutions in the country. A lot of schools talk about their 6-year rate. We love to brag about our 4-year rate at TCNJ. 76% of students graduating in 4 years. That drives a ton of return on investment, and we have been recognized for that as well. So in fact, Money Magazine has ranked us the #1 public college or university for our size of institution, that 5,000 10,000 range. So if you're looking for that school, not too big, not too small, just right, TCNJ really has been recognized as an unparalleled value in that space in higher education. And again, that all comes down to the personalized experiences we facilitate for our students. And so very quickly, I kind of want to talk about the different ways in which we do that. So again, it starts in the classroom, the fact that your classes are smaller, no matter which of our different academic schools that you're in. Professors know who you are, you get attention, you get support. We want our students to have hands up, raising questions, taking a part in the discussions. We want students to be a leader in the classroom, and having support from your faculty is going to make you feel empowered and comfortable to practice that leadership. We also let students personalize the types of courses that they pursue. In most academic programs, about 1/3 of credits for graduation are entirely in the elective space, choose your own adventure. We see students get really creative with that elective space. We see students doing double major in 2, 3 minors. We see students majoring in something in the humanities like Spanish language and culture, while also pursuing core science prerequisites that are going to get them to med school. Whatever your goals are, work with your advisor, work with your support team, you're going to get those goals into your 4 years of study. Similarly, pretty much every TCNJ student is going to take advantage of meaningful field experience. So I already mentioned our great location in between New York City and Philadelphia, driving a lot of companies to recruit our students for internships. Typical business student does 2 or more internships by the time they graduate. Similarly, typical STEM student, science and engineering, does 2 or more semesters of meaningful research with faculty. By the time they graduate, many of our students are publishing in academic journals, traveling to conferences to present their work. Again, nursing students in the hospital by year 2, typical nursing students completes over 400 hours of clinical experience by the time they graduate. That is a direct admit program, as are all programs at TCNJ. Our education students are in the classroom by year 2. Typical education student completes a full semester of full-time student teaching 5 days a week in senior year. So again, we're putting you in the right spaces. You connect with professionals, build the resume, build the skill set. A couple other ways that we personalize your experience. We have over 200 in clubs and organizations, so there's a ton of ways to get involved, including our excellent Division III varsity program. If you're looking for Division III, if you want to prioritize academics while still pursuing high-level athletics, our program has been consistently ranked among the top 3 nationwide for Division III for as long as Division III has existed. We also facilitate a ton of meaningful global and international experiences for our students. We go almost everywhere. The only area we don't hit right now, we don't send any students to Antarctica, but beyond that, you should be good with TC&J programs. And so again, we're doing a lot of different things to really make sure that we are giving students the experiences they're looking for that are going to prepare them for success in an increasingly diverse, multicultural, and complex professional environment. And now that I very quickly covered that, I want to end by talking about some advantages specific to you as Pennsylvania students, as we are looking to expand our geographic diversity at TC&J. And so a big one right out of the gate, we actually updated our cost structure for out-of-state students, knowing how challenging things have been over the past year, 2 years. So whereas tuition used to be about $29,000, $30,000 for an out-of-state student, we adjusted that last year. Now tuition for out-of-state starts at about $22,000 a year. All students pay $14,000 in room and board, so total costs start at about $36,000 per year. We have great scholarship opportunities. You can earn up to $6,000 a year in merit scholarship for TC&J. So if you're earning merit, and especially if you're qualified for need on top of that, very feasible to bring total costs down below $30,000 a year. At that point, you're neck and neck with our in-state students, and chances are that should be a cost structure that's in the ballpark with some of the great options you're seeing in the state of Pennsylvania. Additionally, all PA students are eligible for a fee waiver. If you're not already on our email list, just get in touch with me. I'll get you set up to get your fee waiver. And you're also guaranteed on-campus housing as an out-of-state student. On-campus housing is in demand at TC&J. People want to be near our great dining hall, clubs, classes, activities. So you are guaranteed a spot in the center of the action. There's a ton more to talk about, and I encourage you to do so in the breakout room. Thank you for your time, everybody.
That was great information, very helpful. Our last representative, but certainly not least, is from Elmira College.
Okay. Is the audio good now?
Still a little low.
I don't have headphones. I don't. How bad is it?
Yeah, I think just go ahead. I think I can hear you right now, but
Okay, I'll just go for it then.
yeah.
I'm Taylor Stansky. I am admissions counselor at Elmira College. We are in Elmira, New York, so we are known as the Mark Twain country. Some fast facts about the school are we sponsor 18 varsity sports. We are Division III. We have 25. We have students coming from 25 states and 32 countries, and 40% of our students study abroad. 100% of our students complete a career within before graduation. That also transfers to 90% are admitted to graduate school or employed 6 months after graduation. So that's pretty cool. Elmira is very small, including graduate students and faculty. We have 1,000 on campus, so you get that 10 to 1 professor ratio. I really like that in college. It helped me go bigger. And then our class size, since we are so small, is 16 students. The highest you might have is 20, but that's just the first year seminar. We have more than 30 academic majors and minors. Students who are in the research program can start researching their freshman year. You don't have to wait till senior year. And then also you can submit your research to conventions and all that. Something new to Elmira is Tommy Hilfiger, the fashion designer, contracted with Elmira College. He is not from the college, but he is from the area, and he wanted the fashion business majors to be able to go out into the industry and work with professionals. So this is a 3-year program. It will start next fall, and I think our first graduating class will be 2024, 3-year, if my math is correct. After graduation, you will be able to study abroad in London and get your master's if you wanted to. So that's pretty cool, pretty new. We're very excited to work with Tommy. Let's see. We can talk about the application process. So our early deadline is November 1st. If you're a senior, I highly suggest filling out your FAFSA and submitting your application. If you submit it by the 1st, you will receive a decision by the 15th of November. It is non-binding, so you can do what you want with your decision. After the decision is made, we will send you your financial aid package, keep in contact, yada, yada, yada. We are on the Common App, and you can also go to elmira.edu to fill out the application. Anything else? Let's see. We have more than 70 clubs on campus. I say more than because if there isn't a club, then you and your friends can start a new one. So it's more than 70 right now. More than 90% of our students live on campus that are commuters. They really want to be a part of that community that we have. There are numerous opportunities for leadership on campus. We are test optional, so you do not have to take the SATs. We highly encourage taking the SATs because if you were to do our pre-law program, you would have to take the LSATs or like a nursing test. So we highly suggest you can enter your SAT scores, but they won't hurt you in any way. I believe that's all that I have right now. If you have any questions, feel free to stop by my breakout room. We can discuss everything more in detail.
Great, thank you. We have some time left, and so we are now going to pivot into our Q&A portion of this session. I invite all our representatives at this time to go ahead and turn on their cameras and get ready to unmute themselves. For our first question here, which is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? What advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go ahead and get started in the same order in which you all presented in.
That's a great question. My biggest piece of advice that I usually give to students is to certainly take advantage of us counselors. Make sure you ask your questions. We are certainly here as a resource for you. I can't imagine, I remember my college search process. I didn't send a single email to a counselor to get my questions asked. So make sure you just use us as a resource. That's what we're here for, to help you get through this process. And it's stressful times. So we just want to help you get through it as seamlessly as possible. So use us as a resource.
I would say keep your options open. It's always great to have a lot of acceptances than maybe only a couple while you're left in the admissions process. So it's always good to do things like you're doing right now, visit colleges, go on virtual visits, go to college fairs and things like that. And make sure that you are looking at a few different options of schools. Look at some big schools, look at some small schools, look at some schools that are in your area, outside of your area, so you can kind of get a full view of a picture while you're making your decision. That's always something that I tell students that's very important.
Yeah, I would say those are two of definitely the best pieces of advice. I would say is definitely use us as resources, as counselors. That's again what we're here for. And definitely, try and visit campuses and explore your different options and locations. You might think you want to go to a city school, for example, and then visit somewhere a little more rural and fall in love with that, or vice versa. So I would say actually getting to campuses, which now we're mostly all open, I think, at this point, is definitely one of the things you should really be doing as you kind of head through the application process. And then kind of going off the using us as resources, a great way to see campus and combine those two things would be checking out and asking us for things like day visits, where you get to come and sit in on a class for a full day and meet with the professor. I think those are really good ways to get a little bit more in depth than what you might find on just a traditional campus tour. So use us as resources and ask about things like that, where you can find that kind of next level at a university and figure out if it's the right fit.
My biggest piece of advice is to do your own research. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure right now you're looking at schools that your friends are looking at, maybe you have a significant other, maybe your parents are telling you something. Do the research for you. If you're interested in a program, look into that program. Look into a school that fits what you're looking for, because you're not doing this for everybody else, you're doing it for you. So ask us the questions, get on campus, and do your thing.
I always encourage students to kind of use your local institutions as a great way to test the waters. And tonight's panel is an awesome example. We're all within about 3 hours of Chester County, different sizes, styles, models. So, you know, I say, like, if you're thinking, oh, I want to go to this big, you know, public school out in California, that's my dream school. Check out the big public school that's a car drive away instead of a plane ride away first. If you like it, good. That's a good evidence. Get on the plane. Go check out the one in California. If not, okay, you've learned something, right? So you can kind of get some easy demos before you really start globetrotting to find your perfect fit. And who knows, maybe your perfect fit is right in your backyard.
I think all the counselors have pretty much said it all. It really is important to have us next to you. I remember when I was in college, I was basically best friends with my admissions advisor because I needed that support. She helped me with everything that I needed help with. I still talk to her to this day. I actually saw her at a college fair a couple weeks ago, so we chatted up and she's like, I'm very proud of you. I love where you ended up. So that's really nice. And then also, I always tell the students that I meet, branch out. Basically what all the other counselors said. I come from a small town in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I branched out about 2 hours and it was honestly the best choice that I've made. Just branch out. I mean, you may want to stay local, you may want to go further, but definitely if you can, do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much to all our representatives. What great advice. It was all very helpful and definitely great for those who are now going through that college search or college application process. So again, thank you for the tips, advice, and all the great information. And thank you to each of you for joining us. We have now reached the conclusion of this session. As we close, there'll be a very quick 5-question survey that will appear on your browser. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out for us, your feedback is extremely helpful. From now until the top of the hour when the next session starts, you can join all the college reps who presented this hour in a breakout room. I have included the link in the chat box, so click on the link to join all of them at this time. And lastly, this session is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/Chester County. Thank you all and have a great night.